Guys, I have to interject here because as I was editing the Battlefield video that we got 2 days ago with the concept art image, it's taken me 2 days to edit this video because I had other videos to do. And then as I was rendering it, Battlefield dropped some more stuff. So on screen here, you have something from Jeff Keighley. It says the next Battlefield game will be built by 4 studios at EA. DICE for the multiplayer, Criterion Games for the single player and helping with multiplayer, Motive will solely be working on the single player, and then Ripple Effect for a new experience. And in this video that you will later see and hear, I talk about how I kind of want Firestorm to return, and then maybe we're getting some type of Zombies mode, which I highly doubt, or another Spec Ops mode, which again I highly doubt. I really do think it's going to be another Battle Royale experience. And then we have 2 concept art images, which I'm going to try and find here soon. Okay, so we have here another concept art for the next Battlefield title. Now, this one's a little less towards the next Battlefield title, and I only say that, and I'm sorry for the poor quality. I couldn't find anyone that had a bigger quality here. But the only reason why I say this might be a leftover concept art from 2042 that they're just reusing is because these vehicles right here are the, I'm just going to call it the next generation Abrams tank that was in Battlefield 2042, which was called the M1A5. And if you look at other concept art from 2042, the Abrams looks like this, and in-game it also looks like this. So we could be set in the same time period as 2042 for this next game. It's just going to be a little bit more grittier, and it's going to feel like Battlefield 3 and 4 compared to 2042, which in my opinion was the most arcadey feeling Battlefield title that we've gotten. Also looking. So yeah, we have 2 M1A5s. This is just my speculation, so take that with a grain of salt. We have this wide open space with mountains in the background and this kind of dead man's land in between. We got some more tanks pushing up or going horizontally here. We have an urban environment in the background with some missiles launching. It could be ICBM missiles, could be cruise missiles. I'm not sure. We just see a bunch of smoke trail coming out from presumably silos. Here we have 2 jets coming in on the left corner of the screen. They kind of look like maybe MiG-29s, which is a Russian fighter. They also kind of look like maybe American F-35 Lightning IIs. They also kind of look like F-15 Eagles. So we got some jets in the background that have the looks of, again, a MiG-29, maybe a Sioux, an F-15, or maybe an F-35. It could be a Raptor, too, because we haven't seen an F-22 Raptor in a Battlefield game yet, which I would absolutely love. And then here we have like a quad-tube missile system right here. There's a Battlefield 3 map that this is giving me major vibes about, and I can't pinpoint the Battlefield 3 map, but it's an open type of map. It's set during the night. It's a reused campaign mission that they moved into multiplayer. I can't remember of the name, and it's showing all the studios. It's powered by Battlefield Central Tech and the Frostbite engine as clear. So here we have an urban environment that kind of looks like it looks like one of the Aftermath DLC map packs for Battlefield 3. That's what I'm kind of getting because of the decaying buildings. It also kind of gives me that Black Hawk Down type of vibe. Because here we kind of have, it looks like a mixture of a UH-60 Black Hawk and some kind of smaller helicopter. It's definitely not American because most American helicopters don't look like this. It looks more like a British helicopter. Whatever these are, these could be landing pylons or they could be munition pylons. Here we have some more pylons. So yeah, there's that. The only reason why it kind of looks like a UH-60 is just from the front. But it definitely looks more like a British type of helicopter. I have a soldier here. Got this beautiful background here. One thing I will say, I was watching Jackfrags' video because he's the one that posted it, and I saw it and I was like, holy shit, I gotta add this in front of my video. But we have some sandbags here within this little compound building here. Some type of Middle Eastern country. And then we have a dude here, presumably holding an M16 of sorts, which it looks like the gas block is upside down. which is weird. Again, it's a concept art, so they might use some like AI generated stuff for concept art, mixing in between actual like hand drawn concept art. But yeah, this definitely looks like a early like Fallujah Marine. This is what it kind of looks like. Like you got the M16, you got kind of like an ACOG, you got like the standard Marine helmet they were wearing, the standard gear that they were wearing during Fallujah. So this very well could be a concept art of a Fallujah style map, because the terrain looks like it, the buildings look like it. Yeah, yeah, for the third time, it kind of looks like Fallujah. Just look up images of Fallujah back in the early 2000s, and you could definitely see it. So that's the second. I think we only got 2 concept arts so far. So yeah, I'm interjecting this into today's video of me talking about the first we got 2 days ago. So yeah, there you guys have it. So we have some amazing news for the Battlefield franchise, and that being yesterday around 3 or 4 o'clock-ish my time, and that's why this video is being uploaded today, the next day. I didn't have enough time yesterday. DICE and EA have revealed the next Battlefield game. Now, for right now, all we have is just a simple Battlefield. That's the name of the game right now. We don't know if it's going to change to a number. We don't know if it's going to be called like Battlefield Modern Combat, like the first iteration, or the first game rather. And yeah, they immediately give us an amazing concept art. City in the background to be like a forest fire going on. There's like modern day frigates in the background. There's AH-64D Apaches flying. I can't see anything else. And there looks like to be like a port of some sorts. This kind of looks like set in Italy or something. With that being said, let's go over the article. So it first starts off, ahead of an Investors Day on September 17th, EA revealed fresh details on the untitled Battlefield game alongside its first official concept art, which IGN can exclusively reveal for the first time. IGN can also confirm that Battlefield will be returning to modern setting after stints of World War I, World War II in the near future. It does include details that should stand out to longtime fans of the series. Among other things, it appears to suggest that the ship-to-ship and helicopter combat will be part of the new game, and that it will feature natural disasters, kind of like 2042, like wildfires. Its grayish color scheme is evocative of Battlefield 4, which remains one of the most popular games in the series despite being released a decade ago. Yeah, Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, along with the Bad Company games, are the most fan-loved games in the title. Battlefield 1's getting up there. Like, I've been playing Battlefield 1 a lot here and there, and I really do miss the game because, in my opinion, Battlefield 1 and 5, to an extent, looks a lot better than 2042, which makes no sense because 2042 is using a more updated version of Frostbite. All of it points to a back-to-basics approach for the next Battlefield. Indeed, head of Respawn and Group GM for EA Studios organization, Vince Zampella, is quick to shout out Battlefield 3 and 4 in the course of sitting down with IGN to talk about these new reveals. The decision to return to modern era, Zampella says, I mean, if you look back to the peak or the pinnacle of Battlefield, it's that Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 era where everything is modern. And I think we need to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do what amazingly well, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And I think we need to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do that amazingly well. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But I think for me, it's the peak of Battlefieldness is in that Battlefield 3 and 4 days. So I think it's nostalgic for players, for me, for the teams even. Those are kind of the heyday, although I would say 1942 also. Return to the modern setting represents a course correction for the series after Battlefield 2042, which eventually found its footing, but was otherwise widely planned to feature for features like specialists. Excuse me. I can't read, I just woke up, guys. Characters that made it seem as if Battlefield was trying to be a hero shooter. Its ambitious 128-player maps also proved unpopular with fans who preferred a more focused experience. 2042 eventually went back to supporting 64 players per map, and the next Battlefield plans to stick to that approach. Now here's my opinion on 128 players, for that to become the staple of Battlefield, a 128-player game. But in my opinion, I just don't think DICE I think DICE said, hey, we can put 128 players in our game without actually, without actually updating our infrastructure in our servers for that game. Because if you guys remember, 128 players, it was laggy. It would cause your frames to go down, and on console you don't have many frames. You only have, well, now you have 60, and in some cases 120, but it would tank with your frames. And again, on console you need as many frames as you can get. On PC, I mean, you're still losing frames, but let's be real, like if you're playing the game at like, I don't know, like 200 frames and you're only losing 60, yeah, it's noticeable. Yeah, you get hitches and the frame drops and stutters, but you still have an advantage because you still have more than 60. That being said, I really do think DICE needs to perfect the 128 player like infrastructure and make it to where you can have 128 players on a map and it not destroy your game. Because I would just imagine, like, for an example, let's use Battlefield 5, and I'm using that because it's the gameplay in the background. Let's say you're playing Grand Operations on Battlefield 5 and you have 128 players attacking in one linear line on one objective and defending. Wouldn't that be fucking sick? So you had 64 and 64 going at it in one area. It goes on to talk about, I'd rather have nice, dense, really nice, well-designed play spaces. Some of them are really good. Yeah, the 128 player didn't make it more fun. Like, doing the number for the sake of the number doesn't make any sense. We're testing everything around what's the most fun. Like you said, the maps, once they get to a certain scale, become different. It's a different play space, and I think you have to design around that. So we are designing something that is more akin to previous Battlefields, Zampella says. I'd rather have nice, dense, really nice, well-designed play spaces. Some of them are really good. I can't wait for you to see some of them. Specialists are also out this time around. I'm so glad because I really hated the specialist it was a bad design aspect in my opinion. Like, sure, you can have these certain characters but still assign them to a class at like day one. Don't change it because they did change it, but you can have these characters, just make them classes, kind of like Call of Duty's operators. And Call of Duty operators is they don't have a special ability, so that's the problem, like me and a lot of other people had in the franchise. Goes on to say, so I wasn't there for 2042. I don't know what the rationale was, but for me, it's like the team tried something new. You have to applaud that effort. Not everybody liked it, but you got to try things. It didn't work, it didn't fit. Specialists will not be coming back, so classes are kind of at the core of Battlefield, and we're going back to that, Zampella said. Careful to stress that Battlefield 2042 wasn't a failure of a game despite not doing as well as hoped. He notes that the development team really spent a lot of time learning how to adapt it and getting things back. Still, he says EA doesn't want a repeat of the experience it had with 2042. We want it to be good out of the gate. Adds up to what might call classic Battlefield, but bigger. Big enough that it merits the effort of 4 separate studios in DICE, Motive, Ripple Effect, and Criterion Games. God, I couldn't fucking speak. Ridgeline Games was briefly part of its development before being shut down after founder Marcus Leto's departure. CEO Andrew Wilson claims that it's one of the most ambitious projects in EA's history. God, I can't speak. I'm fucking illiterate, I guess. Yeah, first of all, I don't trust EA's CEO. I never trust him, so I'm not going to trust him now. I'm pretty sure they've said that Battlefield 2042 in an investor's call before fully revealed that it was the most ambitious title. I'm pretty sure he said that. He said that about a lot of EA titles, pretty much widely including Battlefield. So I don't really trust EA's CEO, and in my opinion, maybe EA should look for a better CEO. Plus, Zampella remains vague on what all of that actually entails. Goes on to say, yeah, it's definitely betting bigger on Battlefield. It's going in and expanding what Battlefield is. We have to have the core. The core Battlefield player knows what they want. We also know what we hate. Amazing supporters. We need to earn their trust back and get back on their side. Yeah, you do. And then it's expanding out and getting more players into the universe and seeing what we can do. So when you want a different experience, you don't have to leave Battlefield. You can experience more things within the Battlefield universe. So we're expanding the offerings that we're giving. We think that the DICE, Motive, Ripple Effect, and Criterion Games are working on the multiplayer aspect, and some other studio is working on a campaign, maybe a battle royale, maybe another mode after battle royale, something like maybe akin to Spec Ops or maybe even a Battlefield Zombies or something. That's just throw out guesses. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know. In my opinion, honestly, I would really love them to bring back Firestorm. Like, Firestorm was such a unique BR experience because it had Battlefield's destruction, it had Battlefield's ground war type of sandbox play, especially with vehicles towing artillery on a jeep or something, setting it up and then ambushing an enemy team with your Pac 40, bringing in tanks, finding a Sturmtiger in a bunker that you have to land there and unlock. Firestorm was just a very unique battle royale, and I really hope EA, Motive, Ripple Effect, Criterion, I hope they bring it back, because I had a blast with Firestorm. Even though I only played it a couple times, I had a blast with that version of Battle Royale. In the meantime, Activision Blizzard is planning to release Black Ops 6, Battlefield's traditional competitor. Where Battlefield has stumbled, Call of Duty has largely climbed to thrive. It begs the question, will Battlefield ever oversell Call of Duty? In my opinion, I don't think it's going to. There's going to have to be a massive miracle with this game for it to oversell Call of Duty, because I've played Black Ops 6. If you guys don't know, I have a COD focused channel. There's always a link down in the description. And I'll put another one at the top of the link just in case you guys want to see what Black Ops 6 looks like. You can head to my COD channel and watch some of my videos on it. That being said, I actually thoroughly enjoyed Black Ops 6. I would venture to say it's probably going to outsell Battlefield. I don't think Battlefield is going to outsell Call of Duty. I don't think it hasn't done that in decades. I think I'd love for it to do that. Like, they're gonna have to give us an amazing hype up before reveal. They're gonna have to give us a really badass reveal trailer, gameplay trailers, multiplayer reveal trailers, maybe even a campaign reveal trailer. They're gonna have to go all out with the marketing and the hype for this game, and not only before the reveal of the game, but before, during, and after the reveal of the game. They're going to have to continue that marketing and hype for the game. It's unclear when the next Battlefield will release, but there are signs that EA is ramping up for 2025, having entered full production earlier this year, according to Zampella. EA is playtesting the game every week and plans to launch a community program next year, though it's unclear if it's a closed beta or something else. When they list community program, I don't think of beta, I think of the CTE that was for Battlefield 4. That's what I'm thinking. I really wouldn't call a alpha, closed beta, open beta, that type of thing. I wouldn't call that a community program. You just don't call betas that. We have a program that we're going to announce next year around getting more community in, because that's kind of the core of what we do here. Get the community back on your side, get the trust back, he says. So I think we're in a really good place. Is it challenging? Of course. But it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't. Whenever Battlefield eventually releases, it'll be a big test for the series, which has a lot to prove to fans after close to a decade since its last really successful entry, which would probably be Battlefield 1 was a pretty successful launch, and then, you know, Battlefield 4 was the last one. Entering an unsettled console landscape with Sony announcing their PS5 Pro last week, which apparently isn't anything better than the current PS5. I heard the only thing you can do now is play 60 frames on the fidelity mode for the PS5. So that's kind of hilarious, because Sony's like hyping this shit up and they're like, oh my god, it's awesome. And then $700 for something that should have been in the base model for the PS5. Anyways, rumors of a next-gen Xbox and Nintendo expect to be announced at Rumors of a next-gen Xbox and Nintendo expected to announce the Switch 2 soon. Zampella is broadly taking a we'll-see approach to both the PS5 and the unannounced Switch 2, though he has some kind of words for Nintendo in particular. Goes on to say, I mean, since the Switch 2 isn't announced and doesn't exist, I can't really comment on that, but I would say absolutely Nintendo, along with Microsoft and Sony, are great partners for us. Are important to us on our business at EA. At Respawn, would love to see it. Zampella says, we don't have anything to announce, but is there a world? Sure. We love them as partners. They'd be great for us. I love the Switch. One way or another, EA is betting on a huge amount of time, money, and manpower on the idea that the multiplayer shooter space is ready for a shakeup. As for whether that bet will pay off, it sounds like we'll know sooner rather than later. It sounds exciting. I'm keeping everything in reserve. Been on the ass multiple times with EA themselves and the Battlefield franchise not really doing too hot. I think their last really good release was probably Battlefield 1 in 2015, 2016. I'm excited, but I'm very reserved when it comes to this. I did not expect this news to kind of drop out of nowhere, so that's pretty cool. Again, here's the concept art. It looks really cool, not gonna lie. I wonder if that's going to be the game icon for digital launches on console, or that could possibly be the box art for the game too. Just move the logo all the way up to the top, and then there you go. So yeah, there you go. There's been the article dropped yesterday for the reveal of the next Battlefield title. Right now, it's just called Battlefield. We don't have a numeric name for it. We don't have something like Battlefield Modern Combat type of name or Battlefield Bad Company. I solely believe this is going to be, using my words very loosely here, this might be a Battlefield 3 and 4 reskin, but in a more expansive timeline, if that makes sense. Like, it's a reskin of 3 and 4, but it's set in a different time period. So I think Battlefield 3 is like 2012 in-game set time. It's either 2012 or 2016, one of the two. And then Battlefield 4, I think, is set in the 2020s. I could be very wrong. I'll annotate their timelines. But if I were to go off speculation on my part, I think it's going to be set in like the 2025, 2030 area, but it's going to play and feel like 3 and 4 together. And if it's like that, I'll be 100% down, because I've always said I think DICE just needs to give us a Battlefield 3, a Battlefield 4, completely remake those two titles, put them together, Battlefield 7 or something, and then release that as a title with all its deals, with all DLC from both games, guns, everything. And that would be a main release. I've always said that, and I think that would be amazing. Sorry that I'm dragging this on. I also do apologize for me being basically illiterate and can't read, I guess. So, let me know down in the comments what you think about this surprising reveal, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
We have lost objective. Return to the combat area.
Vorsicht, Jungs, ich werfe eine Granate!